Hey YouTube, Squirms Ghost here. Thank you for joining me again on another video. Before we get started in the lore and build of Runestone, I just wanted to update you on why this video took so long to come out. When working on this episode, I used the world edit command and it messed up the build in the world. The undo command in world edit would not work, and without backing up the world, it became a total loss. Starting from scratch, including terrain gen with the Terraforged mod, I had an option to start a totally different project and lore. But since Runestone was so well received and liked by many, I decided to start brand new. Same lore, just a different build style, as you'll see in this video. On a positive note, getting to know the Terraforged mod better allowed for a better, more beautiful world gen. On screen are labeled locations of upcoming lore projects and projects previously built in the 1.12 version of the Conquest Reforged mod. So without further ado, let's return to Runestone. Though general peace in the land was achieved through Colovian invasion, there still were pockets of resistance from the non-human races on Phadrea. Goblin scouting raids were a constant threat from their settlements atop the mountain range known as the Fractured Highlands. The Lord Protectors of the region did their best to contain the goblin threat from their cities and towns, but the goblin warlords were keen tacticians in ambush attacks. Since without access to siege weapons, capturing major cities and towns were next to impossible, but small villages and settlements were easy targets for the goblins. Never forgetting his origins, Rizal settled down and helped his friend Matteo forge tools for the construction of Runestone. Work was in constant demand as every day more and more people were arriving at the holy site, some as laborers, some as skilled craftsmen, but all of them were there for the blessing of Andraste. It was a warm summer day when the horde attacked the settlement just outside of Runestone. A young boy named Griff appeared from the wood's edge with tattered clothing and out of breath. Upon seeing him, Rizal ran to the aid of the injured boy who collapsed in his arms from exhaustion. Griff told Rizal that his friends were taken by the scouts and that he managed to escape only because he wasn't as deep in the woods as they were. As Griff pleaded for help, a horn was sounded deep within the woods. Knowing exactly what the horn meant, Rizal handed Griff into the care of a monk, then turned and rushed to his strongbox within Matteo's house. Within the strongbox, he pulled out his blade given to him by his father. Severance, a small, broad, smooth blade made of obsidian, which is held by a grip wrapped in high-quality onyx salmon leather. With its sharp, dual blade, this weapon will slice, dice, stab, and jab its enemies, and shred whatever's left. This battle sword has been handed down from father to son for as long as he could remember. Grabbing both Severance and his family's crested heater shield, alone Rizal rushed into the field to meet the enemies head-on.
As he waited for the goblins to appear from the wood's edge, he thought of all the battles his ancestors have fought. All of them were outnumbered, but they came out victorious. He was quickly brought out of his thoughts by the sound of a horse's bray. He turned and saw a lone rider atop his painted horse. The man was an older man who was wearing the armor of a captain of the old Colovian Guard. It was Sir Davith, a veteran of many battles for the Empire.
Rise all, my friend. We either fight and die, or we submit and die. I know my choice.
Before the gate of the monastery, the two warriors were all that stood between survival or destruction at the hands of a ruthless foe. Knowing this was the only chance the monks and villagers had of surviving the onslaught, Rizal and Sir Davith held off wave after wave of goblin scouts. Each wave pushed the two defenders closer to the gate as the goblin dead was stacking. Cut and bruised Sir Davith, reflexes were slowing down with each assault. During a pause of the battle, Rizal noticed blood dripping from the fingers of the old soldier as he leaned against the stone wall.
Do not worry, it's just a scratch. I'll be okay, lad.
Sir Davith said as Rizal was looking at the old soldier. As the two warriors watched the goblins appear from the woods, a bolt of lightning struck the ground before them, and a loud shriek was heard from the mountainside. Rizal looked up the mountainside and saw a dark, tall figure looming over the battlefield. The antlers atop the head gave it away as a Lesha, a creature rarely seen who is believed to be the guardian of the forest put on Phadrea by Andraste herself. The creature shrieked again as the goblin turned and ran from the monastery. Rizal looked back up to where the creature stood, but there was nothing but fog.
I hope you enjoyed the lore and time-lapse in this video. Fortunately, there isn't a show around yet, as there is no interiors for the builds. So that being said, I thank you for joining me today. Be sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet, and hit that bell button to get updates on video releases. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.